So the 8th of January was in an altered tuning, and I just want to quickly go over that. Let's get ourselves in tune right now in standard tuning, and then I'm going to show you how to go to G6, which is a very, very common tune, very common tuning on the guitar. So here's my high E, here's my B, here's my G, here's my D, here's my A, and here's my lower E. Now, I said that the 8th of January is in a very common tuning. It's called G6. I've always liked G6 because it keeps your lexicon of chord shapes that you're familiar with on the first 4 strings intact, but you give yourself a little bit more bass breadth and possibilities. And what I do is I go down to drop D, lower my low E to D, and then I take my A string and I tune that down a whole step to G. Now, a lot of great guitarists have used this tuning. Chet Atkins used this on Yellowbird. Guy Van Duzer used this tuning a lot. And after you get used to some of the alterations you have to make to play some of your 6-string chords, it's a very effective tuning. So that's G6 tuning, and that's D, G, D, G, B, and our 6th E, or high E. There's really just 2 sections to the song. There's the A section and the B section, and you should think of it as those 2 sections and possibly the variations of the theme. Now, what I like doing when I teach my students is I like them to separate the melody, and everything I play is in I call this the first position. I know the first position in most people's mind is starting on the 1st fret, but I try to play with an economy of space with my left hand, and I try to have each finger take care of the notes necessary right in its wheelhouse where it lays. So starting on the 7th fret, my index finger, my middle finger takes care of the 8th fret, ring finger, pinky, etc. from 7 to 10. So here is what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, I play the melody, and then I support the first 3 notes with the 5th string, which in this case is a G, and the last 3 notes with a high G. So here's how the first measure goes. Okay? Now this is the most difficult part of the song right here, is getting to that big C suspension chord. We have, keep my middle finger right where it is, and my pinky is coming up to the 2nd string, 10th fret, and there's my big C suspension right there. It's a C9 suspended chord, and starting from the lower string, it's 10, it's 10, it's 7, and it's 8 on the 6, 4, 3, and 2 string. So I'll do that one more time. Then I arpeggiate it. If you notice, these 2 fingers are staying down here as ballasts. I'll do that again. You might notice here I'm on the 10th fret and I have a half a capo. I'm covering 4 strings on the 7th fret. And we have that G chord position, or that D position. It's a G chord. So here we go. I'll do the whole thing. Arpeggiate it. 2 middle fingers come over. I repeat myself. So that's the A theme, and it reiterates itself. It gets repeated. And what I suggest doing when you learn the song is I would try to learn all the A themes and then attack the B themes and then sew them together. So this will kind of give you a little glimpse into how I think. So to get a better knowledge of the whole fingerboard in general, I'm going to search for that same melody down here in the lower octave, and I'm going to do the A theme in the lower octave. Repeat myself. Let's talk about some of the variations. And here's the second variation in the tune. It starts here just like we started off before. It starts with playing the first middle 4 strings on the harmonic on the 12th fret. So that's kind of a hard thing to do. We have the suspension right here, the 4th, and we have the half a capo on the 7th fret. My middle finger here is on the 2nd string 8th fret. So there's a double pull off starting on the 10th fret. And then I go to a G chord position with my little suspension here with my pinky. But I want to add some melody and harmony to that. So I'll do that whole thing again. I repeat myself. So that's actually 3 variations, and we have 2 more variations to do in the A theme. This is very important. This is the end of the A section. My bass line's coming up, D, G sharp, to an open G string on the 5th string, and that's kind of an interesting interval there. But my ring finger is on the 7th fret of the D string, which is a note, followed by the open G string. So here we go. There's the 4th variation. Here's the B theme of the song. This guy is dictating everything. My full capo on the 9th fret. Now full capo on the 7th fret. Now this is very important, and this is what I suggest you do, is we play this in sections. Here is, instead of doing all the notes in between, just go from this position here on the 2nd string 3rd fret and the 5th fret of the 5th string. Come down a half step and move your index finger over to the A on the 3rd string, and do that 5 times. One more time, and let's add the notes in between, sort of like painting by numbers. And here we come down again. So I'm going to do the whole B theme right now again. And here we go. So notice that your bass line supporting the melody, is the most important part of the song, I feel, and it's the end tag of the B section. And what's kind of cool about this, in traditional music, I find that there's a lot of songs that don't follow your general format of even measures or beats and measures, and this is a crooked measure. We go from 4/4 to one measure of 2/4, but it's very important again. And let's look at that phrase. It starts off just like the other B phrase, but we're ending it with this note right here, this G note in the top. So my middle finger on that G, the important thing to remember is keeping that note there, and if that note suspends through the whole next part, you've known that you have your hand in the proper position. Listen. I can still hear my G on the top. Let's talk about the second variation of the B theme right now, and I like to look at that as, I don't consider myself a jazz guitarist, and I'm kind of a scripted player. And I like to look at this as, well, it's sort of an improvisation, but it's really just a variation on the theme. And I'm using a sequential. And a sequential to me is just like any group that repeats itself of numbers. But in this case, we have a melody that repeats itself, and it could go on into infinity. And then I get to my C, and this is one of my favorite licks in the song. And we start here on the 5th fret of the 5th string, the C chord, and we have the pinky on the 2nd string D. And we're on the 5th fret with our pinky. We do a grace note. And then let's break this lick, this great cascading lick. I'm breaking it into two parts, starting on the 5th fret of the 1st string. So look very carefully. I'm using my pinky to do that slide down on the 8th to the 7th fret. So there's the first part of the lick, and then I put my ring finger right next to it on the 3rd string, the G string on the 7th fret, and right below it. And I'm supporting that melody and the pull off with the D string, open D string. So all together it sounds like this. So I'll do it again. Then I go back to that sequential, and look how I ended, just like I ended the A theme. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. I'm going to do the whole thing right now. Here is the second variation of the B theme. 2, 3, 4. So now we're going to go into the last variation of the B theme. And look what happens. And then back home for our final ending. So here is our final ending. What I'm doing is I'm mixing, the A theme gets repeated. I don't know if you've noticed that, but here it is, the first part of the song again. When I repeat it, I'm going to take the second part, the second A theme. And here we go with that big suspension and hammer-on. Going into the B theme to say goodbye, diatonic bass line. And look what I do, I use that variation. And to say goodbye. Keep on looping that 3 times. And that's a harmonic on the G string 7th fret, excuse me, D string 7th fret. B string 12th fret, A string harmonic. That was the 8th of January, and I hope I explained that to you in a lucid fashion. And I'm going to play it for you now, the whole thing slowly at half speed.